Hello and welcome back to my channel with another video. In this video we will look at two methods of selecting and slicing data, namely loc and iloc. The loc method is label based while iloc works with integer position based. Let's look at first example. Let's pull and slice one column. The column represents all data from rows parameter, while in column parameter we are only selecting column color. So let's load it the Excel data using pd.read_csv. Okay, so the basic syntax of loc is square brackets and you put in rows label and then the columns label. So in order to pull just one column, so this is our data frame right here. In order to pull one column, what we can do is we would say df, we store the data frame dot loc, we open the square bracket and then we select a column. This column represents that we are selecting all of the data, so we're not selecting any specific data but all of the data for all of the rows. Then we put a comma in here and then we select the column which we want, giving it the column header. So we select color and let's run it, and we can see that it has selected color column and this is the data it has pulled. Please note that this 0 1 2 3 4, this is the index number which Pandas automatically assigns to every series or data frame. Alright, so let's see if we want to pull just one specific row. We can do that as well. So we're gonna do is df.loc2. So if we are just giving it one row, then it automatically selects all of the columns. So you may note here that we have not specified any specific column. We have given no column, so it has selected all of the columns. So since Python is zero based index, this is the second row, this is the first row with index 0. So we can see that this is the information for this second row. Okay, so we can see that this has selected the row based on the index number. So we can see that it has selected the row with index 2 and the caret is 0.23 good E, so it has selected this specific row. So this number is based on index, this column right here. Moving on, if you want to return multiple values or multiple index numbers, multiple rows, we can give it multiple index numbers using double square brackets. So you can see here that it has pulled two specific rows with those specific index numbers, the one with index 2 and the one with index 5. Alright, let's review the head of the data frame once again, just for recap. So this is the data frame. We can also slice and use multiple criteria to select specific columns. So we can do that by using df.loc. So we are getting multiple criteria. So we want the clarity, we want the rows where the clarity column equals si2 and the caret value is greater than 0.2. So it will select only the rows where these two conditions satisfy, since we are using an AND. If you want to use OR, you can use that as well. So let me just write it here quickly. So use ampersand for AND, pipe sign for OR. So if you're using AND, it will make sure that both criteria match for each row. If you're using OR, it will just match one of those criteria in each row. So once that is done, we can select the columns which we want. We are going to select clarity, caret, color and price. So let's run this and see if it has pulled up correctly. So we can see here it has pulled only those rows where the clarity equals si2 and the caret value is greater than 0.2, and then it has selected those specific 4 columns which we mentioned as state to pull. So important to note here that this is just pulling up the result and it's not saving the data frame. If we want to save it, we can simply do is we can copy paste it. We can say df_temp equals this, and then it will save that data frame inside this variable. Okay, let me comment this out for now. We can also use iloc. The basic syntax of iloc is the same, but the only difference is that iloc uses the actual numbers or integers instead of labels. So let's do a recap of the data frame. Let's view the top 4 rows. So if we want to pull up the row with index 3, then we're giving it row value as 3, and then in the column section we're giving it column 1 through 5. Keep in mind that the fifth value is excluded, so it's actually pulling up from 1 through 4. So you can see here that it pulls cut, color, clarity and depth. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So it does not include the fifth value. Let's say if you want to pull specific rows but keep all of the columns selected, we can give rows from rows 0 through 5, and then for the column values we're just giving it a colon, which means select all of the values. Let me write it here. Colon means select all values. Let's run this, and we can see here that it has selected all those rows with index 0 up to 4. Keep in mind that this is excluding 5 index, so it has selected from index 0 through 4, and it has selected all of the columns because we put the colon here, which means select all data. Alright, we can also update values using loc. So let's say if you want to update value for row 2, we can do is df.loc, and then we can give it index 2. We can give it a list of values we want it to update. So what I'm doing is asking it to update the value on index 2 to these values. So let's run this and see what it has changed. So as you can see here, for index 2 it has changed the values from this John Smith, from the above information here, to this new information I added here. We can also subset a data frame using loc. Subsetting means that we are selecting specific columns from a data frame. So let's say if from this data frame we just want to select this column, this column and this column, we can do that using df.loc. We will open the square bracket, and since we want all of the rows, we're gonna put in a colon here and comma, and then we're gonna give it a list of columns we want it to retain. Keep in mind that we are storing the result of this line into a new data frame called df underscore subsets underscore column. Let's run this and see if it has selected the specific columns we asked it to select. Okay, we can see here that it has selected those 3 columns which we wanted to select, and it has run successfully. A few more things which we can do is with loc is filtering. So let's say if we want to filter all of the rows with the clarity equals si1, we can do is df.loc, and then within the square brackets we will select the column. So in pandas you select the column by writing the data frame name and then selecting the column in a square brackets with single quotes. We do a double equal sign, then we write out si1, and it should select all those rows where the clarity column equals si1. Keep in mind that this is just displaying the result and it's not actually changing the data frame unless and until we assign it to a new data frame or assign it back to this data frame. We can also do a contains instead of directly equals. We can say that select all of those rows where the clarity column contains si value or si keyword instead of giving it an exact si1. So we can do that by using the same theme, df.loc square brackets. We select the column, then we do stir. So str we use for accessing the string properties of this column. Then we say contains, and then we say si, which you want to search through all of the columns. Na equals false, because if it doesn't find the specific value, it will not return an error. Let's run this, and we can see here that it has selected all of those rows where the clarity column has si value in it, irrespective of the fact if it is si2 or si1. The last thing we can do is we can create a new column and update its value using df.loc. So let's say we want to create a new column for all of the rows where the clarity column has si value in it, and we want to add a new column with the keyword contains si keyword. So the way this works is the other theme is same. We just select the specific row criteria in the row section, and then in the column area we give it the new column name, which is new underscore col, and then we put an equal sign and we tell it what keyword to fill the column with. So let's run this and see what the result is. So as you can see here that it updated the data frame and it added a new column at the end with the name new underscore call. And for all of the rows where the clarity column had si in it, it added the new column and with the keyword contains si keyword. And for the rows where that value is not available, it will keep it as nan. That's it for this video. If you like the video, please like and comment. I will be creating many more such videos in future, so stay tuned for those and I will see you next time. Thank you.